What the Steelers just did is pure genius and ahead of the biggest game in a very long time. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, we have multiple huge updates to go over ahead of the game, but not only that, there is something that the Steelers are doing that not only is pure genius, but certain aspects that people aren't talking about. We're going to break that down as well as discuss some recent comments from the players ahead of the big game tonight. Folks, a ton to go over on this episode. You're going to want to stay tuned because there is a lot of updates, but before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Steelers content. Over 65% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed to the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're a part of that percentage. Folks, a ton to go over today. The big game is tonight against the Chargers, and there is a lot of stakes on this game, whether that be tiebreakers, whether that be just, of course, in general, winning, right? You need to win to stay above the Ravens. But we're going to be diving into a couple different things, specifically Jaylen Ramsey. Now, in case you guys missed it, and we'll be covering a bunch of different things here in this video, we know Jaylen Ramsey has moved to safety. Coach Mike Tomlin said last week, head of Sunday Night Football, that Ramsey will continue working exclusively at safety for now. And people kind of know that, but there's a reason, and something, a reason has been revealed why this is such a genius move, and it has implications on tonight's game. But let's first, before we get into that, start with some comments from Jaylen Ramsey. I guess you could say it brings a renewed energy for me because playing corner for 10 years, you learn the game and it becomes the same old, same old. And of course, he's not saying that he wasn't learning, but now he gets to learn new things. He gets to play under a new kind of structure, I guess, if you want to go that far with the Pittsburgh Steelers now at the safety position. But also, he is a dang good safety. And this is a perfect move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, of course, they were not necessarily forced into it, but they definitely, it's going to be a new, I guess, like I just said, position for, of course, Jaylen Ramsey at safety. But most importantly, right, like I mentioned, this could be and will be huge for this team, both heading into the stretch of this year, but also going forward. And that's where things become interesting. And thanks to the injuries of players such as Deshaun Elliott and Jabril Peppers, both of which, of course, Deshaun Elliott's out for a while, Jabril Peppers is out tonight, Ramsey roaming the back end in more of a full-time capacity became a necessity. Before last week's contest, he only played 47 snaps at free safety for the Steelers, and against the Colts, he logged 55. Now, his stat line wasn't eye-popping, but boy, was he solid, right? 5 tackles, and he looked very good, and especially given the fact that they could have signed someone from the practice squad. They could have elevated someone from the practice squad. But being able to slide Jaylen Ramsey and giving Joey Porter, who had a good game against the Colts, a chance to step up is very good. And this was also the turning point for this team's defense was last week. And of course, it's been 13 years. It's been years since he, of course, last lined up there. But man, do I love it. And he had some more comments over the past couple days. It's definitely new. Before last week, the last time I played a full game was freshman year in college. Yeah, 13 years ago. It's definitely not like riding a bike. Tough but fun. I love football. All pieces of it. And it's by no means a certainty. The Steelers defense is back after one good game. But of course, him being there definitely helped things. And I think just rejuvenated the rest of this team. Now, the reason this is such a genius move, though, is not necessarily the fact that he's having good results, right? It's that this is going to, or could rather, prolong his career with the Steelers, prolong his career in general, and turn him into just a very good safety that has big, a big impact going forward. You can see here an article drop following in the great Rod Woodson's footsteps. Ramsey is currently playing safety out of need. However, the position change could work to extend the 31-year-old's career. Now, unlike Darius Slay, who's 34, 35, they're not going to change his position. He doesn't have that many years left, right? Hopefully he does, but probably not that many years left in the NFL. Jaylen Ramsey, he's only 31, and he's slowed down a little bit the past couple of years. And really, since getting traded to the Steelers in general, and in the last year or so, he hasn't been fantastic, right? He hasn't been awful by any means, but he's not the Pro Bowl cornerback that they wanted. But we think back to cornerback Rod Woodson. After 5 All-Pro seasons at cornerback, Woodson transitioned to safety with the Ravens, and we know what happened after that. And people are really starting to take notice of A, the potential for prolonging his career and him being an elite safety, but B, last week he was good. Big takeaway from watching this defensive film this morning, Jaylen Ramsey is one heck of a safety, man. He plays with such an edge and is such an enforcer in the middle of the field. And this tweet obviously blew up a little bit. He looks comfortable. He looks like he's done it before, which he hasn't really done it in an extended period of time before at the NFL level, but he's done it before at other levels, college, and then has logged the occasional snap. I'm just excited to see what happens. And you can see here even more people. Ramsey has lost a step and can no longer cover the X. I think he'll be prolong his career playing safety much like Woodson did. He's got the size and technique to be arguably the best cover option for tight ends in the league, which is something the Steelers have struggled with for a while. And obviously, it's a very valid point. The Steelers have struggled with, of course, covering tight ends. And I would say, I don't know if he can no longer cover the X. That being said, though, like he has definitely lost a step. And that's something that has been, pretty clearly, evident. We think even through the first half of the season, yes, they won some games, but the defense was a problem. Highest paid, worst in the NFL. And they obviously got Kyle Duggar now. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they get Jabril Peppers back. And Deshaun Elliott is probably out for the year there. I love it. I love the move by the Steelers. It is a genius move, not just, of course, he lost a step last year in Miami. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers traded for him this past offseason, but he's a multi-time Pro Bowler at the cornerback position, right? For them to give Jalen Ramsey a chance at a breath of fresh air, rather, and really, even if it's just a little bit of a break. And let's say, Jabril Peppers comes back and the two former Patriots, Peppers and obviously Kyle Duggar, go back together and they start working the safety together. Giving Ramsey a bit of a break, a bit of a breather, I think is going to be crucial here. And a breather in the sense of not that he's not working as hard, but just a different look. And fantastic call by the Steelers. And maybe he could follow in Rod Woodson's footsteps, and it could be a very exciting, second half, I guess, or, rejuvenized career for Jalen Ramsey. Let me know down below what your thoughts are, because it's all going to be pretty critical as we head into the game today. And let's dive into the injury report for the game. So Jabril Peppers is out. Cole Holcomb is out. Alex Highsmith in. And the biggest one here is obviously Isaac Seumalo. He is out, the left guard. This is going to be rough because we know, and I've been covering it in the videos a lot, they're jumbo sets with 3 tight ends, Darnell Washington, obviously all the, Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth. The good news is Darnell Washington is playing. The bad news is, without a left guard, who is going to be able to step up, and can they still run those sets? Now, I think it's been such a critical part of their offense and Aaron Rodgers that they're going to run it anyway, right? They'll figure it out. But at the same vein, it's going to be interesting to see how we adjust, right? How they adjust. And good news is Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback. So you're in a very good position to adjust. But at the same time, it's a little bit rough there. And Jabril Peppers being out as well. Obviously, I guess, like I just mentioned, Jalen Ramsey going to fill in, and him alongside Kyle Duggar had a really good, first game with the Steelers. So it's going to be interesting on that front. And then, of course, from the Chargers' perspective, you have to stop Justin Herbert. They throw the ball a ton. And again, Isaac Seumalo is out. Isaac's playing some good ball lately, and without a doubt, his presence is a positive effect in 77. So since he is out, his absence will be felt. The silver lining, Spencer has been playing some really good ball himself and had a really good preseason at left guard. I have faith that 74 will get the job done. So obviously, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that left guard position under Spencer. But it's going to be exciting, man. The Steelers have a 41% chance to win the night according to some of the betting odds. At the end of the day here, they need to go out and they need to win, right? There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You're moving Jalen Ramsey around. You're doing all these different things. The Steelers are hoping to get a better performance out of DK Metcalf, but also they need to throw him the ball. But the Chargers, they're going to be throwing the ball a ton, whether it's Ladd McConkey, whether it's Keenan Allen, all these guys, they're going to be throwing the ball a ton, and it's going to be up to the Steelers' defensive secondary to keep them off the board.